All right, guys, what's going on? Justin from 79 Productions. Today, guys, we're bringing back the blue turbo Civic. Gonna put some coilovers on that. If you guys remember from the first video on this car, well, first couple of videos, I never changed out the coilovers on this car, and it rides horrible. So Max Pete and Rod sent us out a set of coilovers, and we're gonna put those on and see how it rides after that. And we're gonna get to that. But before we get to that, guys, if you would like to support the channel, you can pick up some merchandise. I got this stuff ready to ship out. I got a couple of t-shirts left, some vinyl decals, air fresheners, wheel and turbo keychains. It's pretty cool. I like those. But if you want to support the channel, pick that up. Guys, everything from merchandise sales goes directly into building these cars, so it helps the channel out a lot. And yeah, I'll put the link in the description for that. If you want to help out the channel, pick some up. But let's get to installing these coilovers now. All right, guys, so we're getting ready to install the coilovers on the turbo Civic. Super excited about this. I haven't really had videos on this on the channel in a while, but we're gonna start a little series on this, bringing this thing back and getting it back to what it was. So right now we're gonna start installing these coilovers. Max Pete and Rod sent these coilovers out, and this is their kind of their top of the line coilovers. If you look at them, there's a lot of differences in this new coilovers. First, what they told me was they made this with better material, and you could just see like the dust shields that cover the strut rods in there. That prevents all the dirt from getting in and kind of messing up the seals and stuff like that. But the material is stronger. It comes with, these are flexible, and this top hat kind of, the top mount kind of helps with steering response. And then also they're 24-way adjustable. You know, left click is to soften it up, right click is to stiffen it up. So I'm excited about these. I'm gonna go ahead and install these, and if you would like to look up any more information on these, you could go to Max Pete and Rod's website, and it says all the information there. But we're gonna start, and we're gonna get on this installation right now. All right, guys, so we're getting ready to install these coilovers, and we need to take off the tie rod bolt, the tie rod nut, and we need to take out the fork bolt. We also might need to take out the upper control arm bolt nut, but I'm not sure about that. This car already has coilovers, so it's pretty low, so that might be able to get out of there without taking that off, but we might have to do that. So we're gonna start that now. We are gonna start right here, removing this. If that doesn't want to come out, just give it a couple taps. Now we're going to take off this brake line. These are just 10 millimeters. Just to have this out the way. All right, guys, so now we're going to just loosen this upper control arm nut and bring this down. This is going to make it a lot easier to get the coilover out. Before we take it off, we're just going to give this a couple taps to loosen it up. There. So we need to take these this fork bolt off. Take that off and back it out to the other side. And that's that. Now we're ready to move to the top and take those two top screws off in the shock tower. Now we're just going to take these off, and the coilover is ready to drop out. You can see it already went down, and we'll pull them out through the bottom. All right, guys, so we're gonna just pull these down, and see, let me show you guys up here. The reason I took this upper control arm bolt off is because there's no room to pull it out. So we're gonna lift that up and pull it out. Now we got it out. And just get it over the CV axle. And that's gonna be that. Now this is out, we'll pull the new one. Guys, these things sounded horrible. They would knock. It was just all over the place. That thing's, yeah, these were just horrible. So we're gonna put the new ones on now. So before we get the new coilover, we need to loosen this fork. And we're gonna take that off. That's on there pretty good. Might need to hit it with the hammer a couple of times. We got the fork off. Now we're gonna put it on the new coilover, and we'll compare the old coilover to the new one. All right, guys, so here's the old coilover. Here's the new coilover. Now, if you look at this thing, guys, this is just one of these $30, $40 eBay coil sleeves. Now, the max feeding rod coilover looks a lot better. This is a full body coilover, so it's gonna work a lot better than this. So compared to each other, now this had the car pretty low already, but the thing is, it was just horrible. Like when you drove the car, it just made too much noise. So we're going with this one. I think this one's gonna be a lot better, and we're gonna install it right now. All right, guys, so we're gonna lower this. My car is really low, so we're just gonna go ahead and bottom this sleeve out. That way we can take this as low as possible. It's bottomed out. You can see inside, it's kind of touching on the bottom. So right now we're just gonna tighten that up. Now you could lower that. You can adjust it from here, but here's the thing, guys. When you do that, the instructions say that there's a preload on this to not adjust it from here. Now you got a lot of guys, you can see that I can probably take it down another inch or two, but when you do that, it messes with the preload, and we don't want to do that. So we're just gonna leave it right here, and hopefully this is low enough. So before we install this, Max Speeding Rod supplies these little sleeves with the coilovers, and what we're basically gonna do now is we're gonna install the clutch fork. Now, some of you guys might not have to do this. Some of you might. Now, other cars might not need this, but if you look at this one, it needs it, so we have to put that spacer in there. Let's turn that around because we want that front, we want that to show. So it doesn't really matter, but we're gonna do that anyways. So here we go. We're gonna put this on, and guys, every time I have done this, some of you guys use your car for weight and put it down, but that doesn't always work. So I just take a hammer and I go ahead and tap that thing down, and it's not gonna hurt the coilover. Before it hurt the coilover, it would hurt my hand. I'm just holding this thing in the air. Now we got it all the way tightened down, all the way down. Now we're just gonna tighten this 14mm bolt. All right, guys, so these are ready to go in. We're just gonna put them on the same way we pulled them off. And watch you don't hit your car like I just did. But we're gonna put these things on the same way. Now that's on there, and let's get it somewhat on. It's on that axle. Now we're gonna have to come in here, push this down, and try to squeeze it past this upper control arm. But we're gonna lift that up and get it out the way. There we go, it's there. Now we're gonna come up to the top of the car, and what I'm gonna do now is just lift it up into the place, and I'm gonna hand tighten these on here, because once I get these on, I could just kind of let it go, and once I get these on, I could just let it go, and it'll stay in place while I tighten everything up on the bottom. All right, guys, so we put those top ones just to hold that in place. So what we're gonna do now is hand tighten everything up. We're gonna hand tighten this up. That way, don't go there. We're gonna hand tighten this up. That way it doesn't move around, and I can work and put everything else together. So this one, and what I did notice, guys, a lot of these seals and a lot of the suspension is just completely dry rotted. So in the next couple of videos, we'll be changing that and make that look a lot better. That way this car can ride as smooth as possible. So now we're just putting this fork one in, this fork bolt. And everything is back on. All right, guys, so we're just tightening everything up here. That's tight. We're gonna come down to the bottom and tighten that up. All right, guys, so we got this tool here, and we're just gonna come around and we're gonna snug that down and lock it into place. And so now that we're done with the front, we're gonna go ahead and move to the back and get the back done, and we're good to go. All right, guys, so we're getting ready to remove these back coilovers, and you can see how loose this is. This is where a lot of the noise was coming from. But what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna loosen this bolt right here. There's one bolt here, and then we're gonna come in to the trunk, and we're gonna start in the trunk first. So here we are in the trunk. We just got 2 bolts. We're gonna loosen these, and you see the coilover already dropped down. The assembly already dropped down. Now we're gonna come down here and we're gonna loosen this back bolt. We're gonna pull that out and push this down, and that coilover and this whole assembly is just gonna come off. Now, guys, this is a lot easier than a stock one. With the stock one, you might have to take loose that other bolt and drop that lower control arm down so it slides out. But since this one's already got coilovers on it, it's a lot easier to take off. All right, guys, so here's the 2 rear side by side, and I'm getting ready to put this on. And these things just look trash, so these new ones just look like a big improvement. So we're gonna put this on right now. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna slide this thing on, and now we're gonna lift it up. We're gonna lift it up into the trunk, and we're gonna tighten those 2 bolts tighten those two nuts in the trunk. Now we're just gonna tighten these up. We're gonna put it on hand tight. And all right guys, so Max Speeding Rod supplies 2 of these washers. Now this is gonna go in between the fork of the coilover. That way it can be spaced out just fine. Your car might not need this, but my car needs these spacers. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna slide that spacer into place. Now the spacer's there. So we're just gonna lift this up. Put this bolt through, and we're gonna slide the spacer in on the other side. All right guys, so now we're gonna slide this other spacer in. You gotta lift that up. There we go. We're gonna slide that through, and then we're just gonna put this bolt, this nut on there, and that's it guys. We're gonna tighten this up and it's good to go. We're in the trunk. We're just tightening up these 2, and that's gonna be it. And this is gonna wrap up the coilover installation. All right guys, so here we go. We finished the front and the back. Now we're gonna move on to the other side, and once we're done with that, we're gonna go take this thing for a test drive. All right guys, so we're taking this thing on a test drive, and already these coilovers are so much better than the other ones that were on the car. You know, the other coilovers were super, they bounced a lot, and it just kind of threw you all over the place in the car. It kind of threw you all over the place in the car, and you know, it wasn't as good of a ride as it should have been. But now with these new coilovers on, it's smooth. I've been hitting bumps and it's not as bouncy, and it's a lot more smooth. The other shocks were blown out on the old coilover, so just putting these new ones on was such a major improvement as far as drivability for the car. I mean, I can't complain. I'm super excited about having these. Big shout out to Max Speeding Rods for sending them to me. I mean, so far they're great. I'm gonna keep riding with them, and I'll give you guys a couple more updates on Facebook and Instagram. All right guys, so we're all wrapped up on this coilover installation, and I'm super excited about it. The car just drives so much better, and guys, those coilovers are they're pretty good so far. I'm enjoying them. I have no complaints about them. Max Speeding Rods reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to try our new coilovers? And I said sure. So they sent them over and I put them on. Now the coilovers on this car have pretty much been the worst part of driving this car for the last 3-4 years since I've had it. Now that these coilovers are on, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna enjoy driving it a lot more. I mean, I've always enjoyed driving it, but it wasn't smooth. And you know, anytime you hit a bump, it throw you into the roof almost. So, but now that's these coilovers changed that, so super excited about that. But we're gonna wrap the video up here, guys. And well, before I do that, I want to let you know I'm bringing back old projects to the channel. I've been working on the 67 Mustang. I've been working on a couple of other cars, so you know, if you're following me on Instagram, you'll know what those are. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at 79 Productions so you can check all that stuff out. Now, I'm going to be bringing those cars back and trying to wrap up a bunch of old projects that weren't finished, like the Mustang. And I'm bringing back new projects, you know. So I'm super excited about this. You know, it's a new year now, 2022, and you know, I want to bring as much content as possible, so I'm gonna work really hard to do that and try to get more videos out. So yeah, just stay tuned and subscribe for all of that stuff, because you know, I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys are going to be excited about everything that's coming in 2022. We're going to be going a lot more car shows. We're going to be getting out more projects. So hopefully this is going to be a lot of fun. So that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook at 79 Productions. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless you guys.